Welcome to Thunga Story Time. Today, we're diving into the hidden world beneath our feet, ancient roads that shaped empires, fueled wars, sparked trade, and spread ideas across continents. Imagine traveling on paths built thousands of years ago, where mighty armies marched, traders exchanged exotic goods, and cultures collided. From the legendary Roman highways to the incredible Incan rope bridges high in the Andes, these roads are the secret veins of history. Join me as we uncover the incredible stories, engineering marvels, and lasting legacies of these forgotten highways that still influence our lives today. Ready to step back in time? Let's go. The significance of ancient roads, more than just pathways. When we think about roads today, we often imagine highways, streets, or simple routes connecting one place to another. They're essential for daily commuting, transporting goods, and linking cities and towns. However, in the ancient world, roads were far more than mere paths from point A to point B. They were monumental achievements that symbolized the strength, power, and organizational capabilities of entire civilizations. Ancient roads functioned as the lifelines of empires, acting as critical arteries through which military forces, merchants, messengers, and pilgrims traveled. These networks connected far-flung territories, allowing rulers to maintain control and oversee vast regions efficiently. Roads were a tool of governance, a means to consolidate power and influence over diverse peoples and landscapes. One of the fundamental roles of these roads was military. The ability to move armies quickly and efficiently could determine the survival or collapse of a state. Roads facilitated rapid troop deployments, ensured supply lines remained intact, and enabled communication between distant outposts and the capital. Empires like Rome invested heavily in their road networks precisely for these strategic purposes. Without reliable roads, it would have been nearly impossible to maintain order and project military power over large distances. Trade was another vital function served by ancient roads. Commercial caravans traversed these routes carrying spices, metals, textiles, and other valuable goods. Roads connected markets from different regions, stimulating economic activity and cultural exchange. Merchants depended on well-maintained routes to move their goods safely and quickly, while taxes and tolls collected along the way enriched the state treasury. Roads became the veins through which wealth and resources flowed, shaping the economic landscape of ancient civilizations. Beyond military and trade uses, roads also played a significant role in spreading ideas, religions, and culture. They were conduits for missionaries, scholars, and travelers who carried philosophies, art, and new customs from one region to another. The Silk Road is a famous example. Its routes enabled Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, and many other belief systems to spread across continents. Roads facilitated dialogue between distant peoples and fostered a shared cultural heritage. Furthermore, roads represented political power and control. Building and maintaining an extensive road system required substantial resources and labor. It demonstrated a ruler's ability to mobilize the population and project authority across large territories. Roads often linked administrative centers, military forts, and economic hubs, reinforcing the governance structure of the empire. In some cases, rulers would inscribe milestones or erect monuments along roads to display their achievements and remind travelers of the central authority's presence. The very design and construction of roads also reflected the technological and engineering expertise of ancient civilizations. From simple dirt tracks to multi-layered paved highways, these roads were built to last and endure harsh environmental conditions. They incorporated innovations such as drainage systems to prevent flooding, stone bridges to cross rivers, and way stations for travelers to rest. The sophistication of road construction symbolized the advancement and ingenuity of the society that built them. In summary, ancient roads were far more than functional pathways. They were powerful symbols of empire, tools for governance and control, facilitators of commerce and cultural exchange, and impressive feats of engineering. They connected people, places, and ideas, shaping the course of human history in profound ways. When we walk on modern roads, we follow in the footsteps of those ancient travelers whose journeys paved the way for the interconnected world we live in today. The earliest paths, foundations of civilization's networks. Following the profound significance of ancient roads as symbols of power, commerce, and cultural exchange, it is important to step back in time and explore the very beginnings of these pathways, those earliest routes carved out by human hands and feet. Long before grand imperial highways were paved in stone, before royal courier systems buzzed with activity, there were humble beginnings, simple paths etched into the earth by the movement of people, animals, and carts. Some of the earliest known roads trace their origins to Mesopotamia, often called the cradle of civilization, where humans first transitioned from nomadic lifestyles to settled agricultural communities. Here, in the fertile land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, small dirt tracks emerged as practical solutions to everyday challenges. These trails, made by repeated foot traffic and the wheels of primitive carts, connected villages, farmlands, and trading spots. Though rudimentary, these paths were indispensable, laying the literal and figurative groundwork for the complex networks that empires would develop centuries later. These early Mesopotamian roads were not paved or engineered with layers of stone, but their role was crucial. They made travel more predictable and safer, preventing travelers from getting lost in vast wilderness and facilitating the movement of food, goods, and information. As communities grew larger and trade became more important, these paths naturally evolved, widened by more use, occasionally reinforced with crushed gravel or mud to improve durability. What's fascinating is that these simple roads represented humanity's first collective effort to reshape the natural landscape for social benefit. Rather than settling for scattered, isolated communities, early humans began to envision connections, links that would bind people together for mutual advantage. This concept would become the cornerstone for all later infrastructure projects across the world. Beyond Mesopotamia, other early cultures developed similar paths in their own ways. In the Indus Valley Civilization, which flourished around the same time, city planners incorporated straight streets and pathways that organized urban life. In ancient Egypt, paths along the Nile helped coordinate travel and trade between farming villages, religious centers, and the capital. While these earliest roads were humble, their impact was profound. They allowed for the rise of trade networks that stretched beyond local communities to distant regions. Caravans could move goods such as grains, textiles, pottery, and metals, fueling economic growth and cultural diffusion. This was the beginning of an interconnected world where ideas, technologies, and beliefs could spread more easily. Importantly, these paths also facilitated early forms of governance. Rulers recognized that controlling movement across their lands meant controlling people and resources. As a result, they began to invest in improving roads, setting standards for maintenance, and establishing checkpoints or guard posts to monitor traffic and collect tolls or taxes. Thus, the road was not just a physical object but a mechanism of authority and statecraft. Moreover, the humble origins of these early paths highlight the remarkable ingenuity of human societies. With limited tools and knowledge, ancient peoples adapted their environment to suit complex social needs. They learned how to choose routes that avoided natural obstacles like swamps and steep hills, and how to maintain roads during different seasons. These practices were passed down, refined, and eventually incorporated into the grand road-building traditions of empires like Persia and Rome. In essence, the earliest paths in Mesopotamia and other ancient regions served as a foundation for the dramatic evolution of road systems. From these dirt trails, the concept of a road transformed into a powerful symbol of civilization itself, representing order, connectivity, and progress. They remind us that even the grandest empires and most sophisticated networks started with simple steps, taken one after another by countless individuals over generations. Today, when we travel on modern highways, it's easy to overlook the origins of these routes. Yet beneath the asphalt and concrete lies the legacy of those earliest pathways, silent witnesses to human ambition and cooperation. Understanding the story of these first roads helps us appreciate how far we've come and how deeply our societies are shaped by the desire to connect and communicate. The Persian Royal Road, the empire's lifeline. Building upon the foundation of simple dirt paths and local trails, the Persian Empire took road construction to an unprecedented level. Among the earliest and most impressive grand road systems in history was the Persian Royal Road, an engineering marvel and political tool that stretched across vast and diverse terrains, connecting distant corners of one of the largest empires of the ancient world. The Royal Road ran approximately 1,500 miles, about 2,400 kilometers, from Sardis, located in what is now western Turkey, all the way to Susa, a major city in modern-day Iran. This extensive network was not just a path carved into the earth, it was a carefully planned infrastructure project designed to facilitate rapid communication, military movement, economic exchange, and administrative control. What made the Persian Royal Road revolutionary was the system of rest stations placed at regular intervals along its length. These stations, known as caravanserais, provided fresh horses, food, shelter, and supplies for travelers and couriers. The royal messengers, or angaria, used this relay system to pass messages quickly across the empire. Herodotus, the ancient Greek historian, famously remarked that neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor gloom of night stays these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds, a phrase that echoes the reliability and speed of the Persian postal system. This courier network allowed messages and decrees from the Persian king to travel thousands of miles in just a few days, a staggering improvement over previous communication methods. The ability to communicate quickly across great distances was crucial for governing such a sprawling empire, which spanned multiple cultures, languages, and geographic challenges. The Royal Road also supported military logistics. Armies could be mobilized rapidly, moving soldiers, weapons, and supplies efficiently along a secure and maintained route. This capability helped Persia maintain control over its territories and respond swiftly to rebellions or external threats. Moreover, the road facilitated trade throughout the empire. Merchants used the route to transport goods such as textiles, spices, metals, and agricultural products. The road helped integrate the diverse economies within the Persian Empire, boosting prosperity and encouraging cultural exchange between East and West. The construction of the Royal Road demonstrated impressive engineering skills for its time. Builders had to overcome natural obstacles like rivers, mountains, and deserts. Stone bridges span waterways, and sections of the road were paved with gravel or stone to improve durability and usability throughout the year. Administratively, the road symbolized the power and reach of the Persian kings. Milestones marked distances, and guards monitored travelers to ensure safety and security. The maintenance of the road required organization and resources, highlighting the empire's ability to mobilize labor and manage complex projects on a large scale. The legacy of the Persian Royal Road extends beyond its physical structure. It set a precedent for future empires, including the Romans, who borrowed and expanded upon Persian road-building concepts. The idea of connecting an empire through a vast, well-maintained road network became a model of imperial governance and infrastructure development. Today, the traces of the Royal Road remind us of a time when connectivity was a matter of survival and power. It was an artery that pumped information, commerce, and culture across ancient lands, knitting together diverse peoples under the banner of empire. The road's existence transformed the way societies communicated and interacted, making it one of the earliest examples of a truly interconnected civilization. In essence, the Persian Royal Road was more than just a route. It was a symbol of unity, efficiency, and imperial ambition. It showcased how infrastructure could be leveraged as a political and military tool, shaping history in profound ways. Roman roads, the gold standard of ancient engineering. Following the impressive example set by the Persian Royal Road, the Romans took the concept of road building to an extraordinary new level. The Roman road system became the gold standard for infrastructure in the ancient world, an immense, meticulously planned network spanning over 50,000 miles, more than 80,000 kilometers, across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. It was arguably one of the most sophisticated and enduring achievements of the Roman Empire, laying the foundation for many modern transportation routes still in use today. Roman roads were far more than simple pathways. They were engineering masterpieces designed for durability, efficiency, and strategic advantage. The construction techniques employed by Roman engineers were advanced for their time and remarkably consistent throughout the empire. Roads were built with multiple carefully layered materials, a foundation of large stones, a middle layer of gravel mixed with sand or lime, and a top layer of tightly fitted paving stones. This multi-layered approach ensured the roads were strong, well-drained, and capable of withstanding heavy traffic and harsh weather conditions. One of the most distinctive features of Roman roads was their famous straightness. Roman surveyors used sophisticated tools and methods to plot roads that followed the most direct routes possible, regardless of natural obstacles. They cut through hills, built bridges over rivers, and constructed tunnels through mountains when necessary. This directness not only shortened travel times but also projected Roman authority and order across the landscape. Roman roads were indispensable to the empire's military machine. The ability to rapidly deploy troops, supplies, and communications was essential to controlling vast territories and defending against invasions or rebellions. Roads allowed legions to march swiftly to the empire's frontiers, reinforcing positions or launching campaigns. Along the roads, the Romans established a network of forts, watchtowers, and way stations to support military logistics and maintain security. But Roman roads were not solely for military purposes. They also played a vital role in economic life by facilitating trade and commerce. Markets and towns flourished along these routes, where merchants exchanged goods such as olive oil, wine, metals, ceramics, and textiles. The roads connected rural agricultural areas with urban centers, enabling efficient transport of food and raw materials. Toll stations and customs posts along the roads provided revenue for the empire, reinforcing the state's financial power. In addition, Roman roads were essential to governance and administration. The empire's vast bureaucracy depended on the reliable movement of officials, tax collectors, judges, and messengers. Couriers carried imperial edicts and legal documents across provinces, ensuring uniform rule and communication. Roads thus underpinned the Roman legal and political system, linking the emperor's capital with distant territories. Perhaps equally important was the role Roman roads played in spreading Roman culture and civilization. Through these routes, Roman law, language, architecture, and customs disseminated across conquered lands, helping to unify a diverse empire of many peoples. Roads connected cultural centers, theaters, temples, and forums, facilitating festivals, religious pilgrimages, and social gatherings that reinforced shared identities. The legacy of Roman roads is undeniable. Many modern European highways and streets trace their origins back to these ancient routes. Cities like London, Paris, and Rome itself were built around and grew because of their connections to this extensive network. The phrase "all roads lead to Rome" captures the central role these roads played in connecting the ancient world. Technically, the Romans also innovated features such as milestones, stone markers indicating distances and directions, that improved navigation and administration. Drainage ditches and curbs helped keep roads dry and safe. Roadside inns and mansiones provided rest for travelers and official couriers. These infrastructure elements reflected a comprehensive approach to road building and maintenance, unmatched by many civilizations for centuries. The construction and upkeep of Roman roads required substantial state resources and organization. Legions often participated in road building, alongside skilled laborers and engineers. This massive undertaking symbolized the empire's strength and unity, illustrating how infrastructure was a key pillar of Roman power. In conclusion, Roman roads set the highest standard for road construction in the ancient world, combining engineering excellence with strategic military, economic, and cultural functions. They shaped the Roman Empire's expansion and administration while leaving a lasting imprint on the infrastructure and urban development of Europe and beyond. Walking on or driving along roads built on ancient Roman foundations is to connect with a legacy of human ingenuity that continues to influence our world today. The Inca road system, Capac Ñan, engineering marvels of the Andes. After exploring the monumental road systems of the Persians and Romans, we now journey across the ocean and high into the rugged Andes Mountains, where the Inca Empire constructed one of the most remarkable pre-modern transportation networks in human history. Known as the Capac Ñan, the Inca road system stretched over 25,000 miles, approximately 40,000 kilometers, connecting the vast and diverse terrains of South America, from arid deserts and dense forests to the soaring peaks and deep valleys of the Andes. Unlike the wide stone-paved highways of Rome or the flat desert routes of Persia, the Inca roads were uniquely adapted to some of the most challenging landscapes on Earth. Built entirely by hand, without the aid of wheeled vehicles or draft animals, the Capac Ñan was a testament to human ingenuity and determination. It wove through steep mountain slopes, crossed turbulent rivers, and threaded across high-altitude plateaus, demonstrating a deep understanding of terrain and engineering. The construction techniques of the Inca were extraordinary. Paths were often paved with carefully fitted stones, laid in patterns that ensure durability and drainage. In areas with loose soil or unstable ground, retaining walls were built to stabilize the route. The Incas developed impressive solutions for crossing deep canyons and rivers, most famously, their suspension bridges made from braided grass ropes, some spanning hundreds of feet. These bridges required constant maintenance and community cooperation to remain safe and functional, symbolizing social organization and shared responsibility. Integral to the road system was the Chayski messenger service, a relay network of highly trained runners who could transmit messages and goods across great distances at astonishing speeds. Stations spaced roughly every few miles, called tambos, provided fresh runners with food, rest, and new supplies, allowing them to maintain a rapid pace. This relay system was essential for communication and administration, enabling the Sapa Inca, the emperor, and his officials to govern an empire that stretched from modern-day Colombia in the north to Chile and Argentina in the south. The efficiency of the Chayski runners was legendary. By handing off messages at these relay points, important news, military orders, and information about resources could travel hundreds of miles in a matter of days, a critical advantage in a rugged and expansive empire. The Inca road system thus functioned as a vital nervous system, keeping the empire connected and responsive despite its geographical challenges. Beyond military and administrative use, the Capac Ñan also supported trade and cultural exchange between diverse Andean communities. It linked agricultural zones producing potatoes, maize, quinoa, and coca leaves with marketplaces and religious centers. The roads were pilgrimage routes, facilitating spiritual journeys to sacred mountains and shrines. They also served to unify the empire culturally, physically binding together a mosaic of languages, ethnicities, and traditions under Inca rule. The road network exemplified the Inca worldview, one that valued harmony with nature and practical ingenuity. Every section of the Capac Ñan was designed to fit its environment rather than impose upon it, reflecting an approach to engineering that was sustainable and integrated with the landscape. This contrasts with many imperial road systems that sought to dominate the environment through brute force. The Inca road system's legacy is profound. Though much of it was disrupted or destroyed during and after the Spanish conquest, significant portions remain preserved and in use today. Modern highways and hiking trails often follow the original routes, testifying to the road builders' skill and foresight. The Capac Ñan stands as one of the greatest engineering achievements of the pre-Columbian Americas. It reveals how a civilization without horses, wheels, or iron tools managed to create an extensive, highly functional infrastructure that served military, administrative, economic, and cultural needs. It challenges modern assumptions about technological progress and highlights the diverse ways human societies have solved complex problems. In sum, the Inca road system is a remarkable chapter in the story of ancient roads, a testament to the power of human collaboration, adaptation, and resilience in the face of nature's challenges. It invites us to appreciate the sophisticated knowledge and social organization that enabled the Incas to connect their vast empire across one of the most formidable landscapes on Earth. Han Dynasty roads, connecting the Middle Kingdom and beyond. Continuing our journey through the world's great ancient road systems, we now turn to the Han Dynasty in China, one of the most influential empires in East Asian history. During the Han period, 206 BCE to 220 CE, the Chinese built and expanded an extensive road network that connected sprawling territories and played a crucial role in the flourishing of the Silk Road trade routes. This system was instrumental in facilitating military operations, governance, trade, and cultural exchange across vast distances. The Han roads were more than just simple paths, they were integral arteries supporting the empire's administration and expansion. As the Han Dynasty solidified its power, it recognized the need for efficient transportation infrastructure to unite its diverse and far-flung provinces. Roads linked major cities, military garrisons, agricultural regions, and trading hubs, creating a cohesive network that could support the empire's growing complexity. Central to the Han road system was the development of a sophisticated postal relay network known as the Yichuan. This system consisted of relay stations placed at regular intervals along the roads, staffed by couriers and officials responsible for maintaining rapid communication. The Yichuan network was designed to transmit official documents, military orders, and news quickly from the capital to the provinces and vice versa. Much like the Persian Angaria and Inca Chasqui systems, the Yichuan couriers used a relay method to cover large distances swiftly. At each station, a fresh messenger or horse would take over, enabling messages to travel hundreds of miles in a fraction of the time it would take a single rider. This innovation was essential for managing the empire's affairs efficiently, especially during times of war or rebellion. The Han roads were also vital in supporting military campaigns. The empire faced frequent threats along its borders, including nomadic tribes from the north and west. Rapid troop movement along well-maintained roads allowed the Han armies to defend, expand, and consolidate territory. Fortified way stations provided supplies and shelter for soldiers on the march, ensuring readiness and endurance. Economic activity flourished along the Han roads as well. These routes facilitated the transportation of silk, tea, spices, metals, and other valuable commodities between the interior and frontier regions. Importantly, the road network linked to the famous Silk Road, the transcontinental trade route that connected China to Central Asia, the Middle East, and beyond. By improving access to trade centers, the Han roads helped China become a global economic powerhouse of its time. The Han roads were engineered with care and sophistication. Builders constructed raised causeways to traverse marshy or flood-prone areas and stone-paved sections in high-traffic zones. Drainage ditches alongside the roads prevented erosion and maintained their usability through the seasons. The network also included bridges and tunnels to overcome natural obstacles, enabling year-round connectivity. Along the roads, milestones and signposts provided travelers with crucial information on distances and directions. Inns and rest stops offered shelter and provisions, fostering a culture of travel and commerce. The road system's maintenance was a state priority, demonstrating the importance the Han court placed on infrastructure as a pillar of imperial power. Culturally, the Han roads facilitated the exchange of ideas, philosophies, and religions. Buddhist missionaries and scholars traveled these routes, spreading their teachings westward, while Confucian ideals and Chinese inventions moved along the Silk Road. The roads thus became conduits not only for goods but also for the flow of knowledge and cultural diffusion. The legacy of the Han road network is far-reaching. It laid the foundation for future Chinese dynasties' infrastructure projects and helped integrate China's vast and varied geography into a cohesive empire. The emphasis on connectivity and communication reflected a sophisticated understanding of statecraft and governance. Today, archaeological remains of Han roads, relay stations, and milestones offer invaluable insights into ancient Chinese engineering and administration. They remind us that the Han Dynasty's success was not only due to military conquests or political reforms but also to their ability to build and maintain the physical networks that connected their world. In summary, the Han Dynasty's road and relay system was a critical element in the empire's rise and sustainability. It showcased advanced engineering, strategic planning, and administrative innovation. Like the great roads of Persia, Rome, the Incas, and others, the Han road shaped the political, economic, and cultural landscapes of their time, and continued to inspire modern infrastructure development. Ancient Greek roads, connecting cities, states, and culture. As we traverse the vast history of ancient road systems, we arrive in the world of the Greeks, a civilization renowned for its philosophy, art, and political innovation. Unlike the imperial empires of Persia, Rome, or the Han Dynasty. Ancient Greece was a patchwork of independent city-states, polis, each with its own governance and priorities. This fragmented political landscape influenced the nature and function of Greek roads, which were primarily built to meet local needs rather than imperial ambitions. Greek roads served as vital connectors between neighboring city-states, agricultural villages, markets, and places of worship. While these roads lacked the vast scale or monumental engineering feats of the Romans or Incas, they were essential in supporting the social, economic, and religious life of the Greek world. Their role was to facilitate everyday travel, trade, and communication within a landscape shaped by mountains, seas, and valleys. One of the most famous routes was the Sacred Way, which linked Athens to the sanctuary of Eleusis, home of the Eleusinian Mysteries, a series of secret religious rites and festivals dedicated to Demeter and Persephone. Each year, thousands of pilgrims traveled this road during the sacred festivals, moving solemnly through the countryside in a ritual procession. The Sacred Way was more than just a path, it was a symbolic journey reflecting the spiritual beliefs and cultural identity of the Athenians. Beyond religious purposes, Greek roads enabled the movement of philosophers, soldiers, merchants, and citizens. Figures like Socrates and Plato likely traveled these roads as they visited various city-states to teach and debate ideas. Soldiers used these routes during wars such as the Persian Wars and the Peloponnesian War, moving troops between allied cities or to contested regions. Greek roads often connected agora, marketplaces, which were the economic heart of city-states. These vibrant centers of trade relied on roads to bring in goods like olive oil, wine, pottery, and grain. Through these commercial links, Greek culture and influence spread across the Aegean and Mediterranean, reaching colonies and trading partners far from the mainland. While most Greek roads were modest dirt or gravel paths adapted to the terrain, some were paved or reinforced near cities or important sites. Road construction reflected local geography, with routes winding around hills, following river valleys, or hugging coastal cliffs. Stone markers or simple milestones occasionally guided travelers, but Greek roads generally prioritized practicality over grandeur. Greek engineers also built infrastructure such as bridges to span small rivers and aqueducts to supply cities with water, though large-scale road-building projects like those of the Romans were rare. The mountainous terrain of Greece often made long-distance travel difficult, encouraging a network of short connecting roads rather than a unified highway system. Despite their relatively local focus, Greek roads contributed to the cultural and political unity of the Hellenic world. They allowed citizens to participate in pan-Hellenic festivals such as the Olympic Games, held in Olympia, and religious events in Delphi. These roads were routes of exchange not only for goods but also for ideas, helping to shape the intellectual heritage of Western civilization. The Greek road network also played a role in the spread of Hellenistic culture after the conquests of Alexander the Great, as roads connected newly founded cities across a vast empire stretching from Greece to Egypt and into Asia. While much of this later road construction borrowed from Persian and Roman models, it built upon the tradition of connectivity established in the Greek mainland. Today, remnants of ancient Greek roads still exist, preserved near archaeological sites and within the roadways of modern Greece. Walking along these ancient paths offers a glimpse into the daily lives, spiritual journeys, and civic activities of the Greeks, reminding us how even modest roads can shape history. In essence, ancient Greek roads were the lifelines of a civilization that valued philosophy, democracy, and religious devotion. Though not as expansive or engineered for empire as others, these roads carried the footsteps of some of history's greatest thinkers, warriors, and pilgrims, linking city-states and nurturing a culture whose influence echoes through time. Ancient Indian roads, the Mauryan vision of connectivity and compassion. Our exploration of ancient road systems now brings us to the Indian subcontinent during the reign of one of its greatest emperors, Ashoka the Great, circa 268–232 BCE, of the Maurya Empire. Known not only for his military conquests but also for his profound commitment to peace and Buddhism, Ashoka's rule marked a transformative period in the development of infrastructure, governance, and spirituality. Central to his vision was the construction and enhancement of a network of roads that stretched across the vast and diverse territories of India, serving as vital arteries for commerce, pilgrimage, and cultural exchange. Unlike many ancient road systems primarily focused on military or administrative needs, the roads developed under Ashoka reflected a deeper humanitarian purpose. These routes were designed to facilitate the movement of people and goods while also promoting the emperor's ideals of welfare, compassion, and religious harmony. One of the defining features of Mauryan roads was their thoughtful design catering to travelers' comfort and safety. Many roads were lined with shady trees, providing relief from the intense Indian sun, an early form of roadside landscaping aimed at improving the travel experience. In a time when long-distance journeys could be arduous and perilous, these shaded avenues offered rest and respite, reflecting an enlightened concern for the well-being of subjects and visitors alike. Along these roads, travelers could find wells and water sources, ensuring access to clean drinking water, a crucial necessity in the often hot and dry climate of the subcontinent. The presence of such amenities demonstrated an advanced understanding of infrastructure's role in supporting daily life and commerce. Equally important were the inns or rest houses, places where merchants, pilgrims, and officials could pause during their journeys. These accommodations fostered not only physical rest but also social interaction, as travelers from various regions and backgrounds met, exchanged news, and shared ideas. Perhaps the most historically significant markers along Mauryan roads were the stone pillars inscribed with royal edicts, the famous Ashoka pillars. These monumental columns bore inscriptions in multiple languages and scripts, conveying the emperor's messages on moral governance, nonviolence, religious tolerance, and public welfare. Placed at strategic points along the roads, these pillars served as both practical signposts and profound instruments of ideological communication. The road network was crucial for trade, connecting cities, ports, and rural areas, enabling the movement of goods such as spices, textiles, precious stones, and metals. By improving connectivity, these routes helped integrate the economy of the Maurya Empire, fostering prosperity and cultural exchange within and beyond its borders. Moreover, the roads facilitated pilgrimage and religious dissemination, particularly the spread of Buddhism. Ashoka himself famously embraced Buddhism after witnessing the devastation of war, and he actively promoted its teachings. Roads allowed monks, pilgrims, and missionaries to travel to sacred sites like Bodh Gaya, the place of Buddha's enlightenment, and other important religious centers. This mobility played a critical role in Buddhism's expansion across the Indian subcontinent and into Central Asia. Technically, the Mauryan road system was a marvel of its time. Builders adapted to various terrains, from the fertile Gangetic plains to the rugged edges of the Himalayas. Roads were constructed with durable materials and drainage systems to withstand seasonal monsoon rains, ensuring year-round usability. The legacy of Ashoka's roads extends far beyond their physical structure. They symbolize a holistic approach to infrastructure, one that blends engineering, governance, social welfare, and spirituality. These roads were more than trade routes, they were conduits for ideas, compassion, and cultural unity. Today, archaeological remnants and ancient texts help historians reconstruct the scale and impact of these roads. The Ashoka pillars, some still standing, continue to inspire as symbols of ethical leadership and visionary statecraft. The roads themselves remind us that infrastructure, when designed with care and humanity, can shape societies and promote lasting peace. In summary, the Mauryan road network under Ashoka represents a remarkable chapter in the history of ancient roads. It highlights how connectivity can be harnessed not only for economic and political ends but also to nurture a more compassionate and enlightened civilization. This vision of roads as pathways of both commerce and conscience remains relevant as we consider the role of infrastructure in today's interconnected world. Engineering marvels of ancient roads, foundations of connectivity and durability. As we reflect on the vast networks of ancient roads that span continents and empires, from the Persian Royal Road to the Mauryan highways, one unifying theme emerges: the extraordinary engineering ingenuity that made these routes possible and enduring. The construction and maintenance of roads in antiquity required not just labor, but deep knowledge of materials, terrain, and design principles. These engineering achievements laid the groundwork for modern infrastructure and remain a testament to human creativity and resilience. One of the most iconic feats of ancient engineering was the construction of bridges, essential for crossing rivers, ravines, and other natural obstacles that would otherwise interrupt travel and communication. The Romans, for instance, perfected the stone arch bridge, a design so robust and efficient that many of these structures survive to this day, still admired for their beauty and strength. Using precisely cut stones arranged in an arch, Roman engineers could span wide gaps while evenly distributing weight, enabling roads to maintain continuity over challenging landscapes. Far across the globe, the Incas developed an entirely different but equally remarkable solution for mountainous terrain: rope suspension bridges. Crafted from braided plant fibers, these bridges stretched across deep canyons and turbulent rivers in the Andes. Although made from organic materials, their construction was remarkably durable and maintained through community effort for centuries. These bridges connected remote communities and facilitated the movement of armies, traders, and messengers across some of the most rugged landscapes on Earth. Beyond bridges, ancient engineers tackled the challenge of creating elevated roads and causeways in marshy or flood-prone areas. By raising roadbeds above the surrounding terrain, they ensured that paths remained passable even during heavy rains or seasonal flooding. This technique was crucial in regions such as Mesopotamia and parts of India, where waterways and wetlands were common features of the landscape. Proper drainage systems were another vital component of road engineering. Roads that accumulated water would quickly deteriorate, turning into mud traps that slowed travel and damaged materials. To combat this, builders incorporated side ditches, culverts, and underground channels to direct rainwater away from the road's surface. This attention to drainage not only preserved the roads but also reduced maintenance costs and improved traveler safety. Strategically placed rest stops and way stations provided shelter, food, and fresh horses or porters along long routes. These stations served both logistical and social functions, offering travelers relief and opportunities to exchange information. In empires like Rome and Han China, the state maintained these facilities as part of their broader infrastructure strategy, underscoring the importance of roads beyond mere physical pathways. For navigation, ancient roads were marked with mile markers, milestones, and travel posts, which informed travelers of distances, directions, and sometimes important information about the region. The Romans famously erected milestones, miliaria, along their roads, standardized markers that told travelers how far they were from key cities like Rome. Some of these milestones survive as archaeological treasures and historical monuments, providing tangible links to the past. Similarly, the Ashoka pillars in India not only conveyed royal edicts but also acted as navigational and cultural markers along the Marian roads. These pillars, often topped with sculpted animals like lions, became symbols of the emperor's presence and authority, guiding travelers both physically and spiritually. Even in less centralized or smaller-scale road networks, such as those in ancient Greece, signage and landmarks helped orient travelers. In these fragmented landscapes, local communities maintained markers or shrines to assist pilgrims and merchants, blending practical navigation with cultural and religious significance. The engineering mastery of these ancient roads was not limited to the physical construction but extended into the logistical and administrative realms. Coordinating labor forces, sourcing materials, and maintaining infrastructure required sophisticated planning. Empires developed bureaucratic systems to oversee road building and upkeep, reflecting the road's strategic importance. The durability of many ancient roads is striking. Roman roads, for example, were built with multiple layers, large stones at the bottom, crushed gravel in the middle, and tightly packed paving stones on top, creating a surface that could withstand heavy traffic and harsh weather for centuries. Some modern roads in Europe still trace their routes directly over these ancient foundations, a testament to their enduring design. Similarly, Incan roads, though less monumental in appearance, used carefully fitted stones and meticulous drainage to last through the often brutal mountain climate. Their rope bridges were regularly maintained and rebuilt by local communities, demonstrating a blend of engineering and social cohesion. In short, the engineering achievements behind ancient roads were foundational to the success and longevity of empires. They enabled armies to mobilize rapidly, merchants to trade efficiently, and cultures to connect and flourish. These roads were more than dirt paths, they were sophisticated systems that integrated technology, governance, and human effort. Today, studying these engineering marvels offers valuable lessons for modern infrastructure, reminding us that durability, adaptability to the environment, and attention to traveler needs are timeless principles. The remnants of ancient roads, bridges, and markers still inspire engineers, historians, and travelers alike, connecting us to a shared heritage of innovation and human endeavor. The lasting legacy of ancient roads, foundations of our modern world. As we conclude our journey through the remarkable history of ancient roads, it becomes clear that these pathways were far more than mere stretches of dirt or stone. They were the lifelines of empires, the veins through which flowed the energy of commerce, military power, culture, and communication. The legacy of these roads stretches far beyond their original purpose, continuing to influence the modern world in profound and often subtle ways. Ancient roads laid the very foundation for the rise and sustainment of powerful empires across the globe. The ability to move armies swiftly and efficiently often meant the difference between conquest and collapse. Roman legions marched confidently across their vast network of stone-paved highways, enabling the empire to defend its borders, suppress rebellions, and extend its reach over 3 continents. Similarly, the Inca Empire's vast Andean road system allowed its rulers to maintain control over mountainous terrain that would otherwise be impassable. But these roads were not built solely for war. They were equally vital in shaping the economic landscapes of ancient societies. By connecting cities, towns, and rural areas, roads enabled the efficient transport of goods, spices, textiles, metals, and precious commodities that fueled trade both within empires and between distant cultures. Markets thrived along these routes, fostering economic interdependence and prosperity. The Persian Royal Road, for example, was a commercial artery that linked the heart of the empire to far-flung provinces, facilitating exchange and wealth accumulation on an unprecedented scale. Moreover, ancient roads were critical in the transmission of culture, religion, and ideas. Pilgrims traveled from all corners to sacred sites along well-maintained roads, spreading beliefs and rituals that shaped the spiritual fabric of societies. The Mauryan roads under Emperor Ashoka helped disseminate Buddhism, contributing to one of the world's major religions spreading far beyond its birthplace. The Roman roads enabled the diffusion of Roman law, language, and customs throughout Europe and beyond, laying cultural groundwork that persists in the modern Western world. These roads also fostered communication networks vital to governance. Imperial relay systems, such as the Persian couriers and Han Dynasty Yichuan, allowed messages to traverse vast distances with astonishing speed. This administrative connectivity helped rulers manage sprawling territories, respond to crises, and maintain cohesion among diverse populations. What is striking today is how many of these ancient routes continue to shape the infrastructure of our contemporary world. In Europe, many modern highways follow the exact paths laid down by Roman engineers over 2 millennia ago. Archaeologists and historians have mapped these ancient roads, revealing the skeletons of past civilizations embedded beneath modern cities and highways. Even in places like South America, the Inca road network influences current transportation corridors, underscoring the enduring practicality of their routes. In India, the ancient Mauryan roads pathways still inform modern roads and pilgrim trails, serving as living links between past and present. Beyond physical traces, these roads symbolize humanity's timeless drive to connect, explore, and organize. They remind us that the infrastructure we often take for granted today, roads, bridges, way stations, are part of a lineage of innovation and ambition stretching back thousands of years. In reflecting on this legacy, we see ancient roads as more than historical artifacts, they are foundational pillars of civilization. They shaped how societies developed economies, waged war, governed territories, and shared knowledge. The ingenuity and effort invested in these roads speak to a universal human desire to transcend geographical barriers and unite people through travel and exchange. Today's globalized world, with its vast networks of highways, railroads, and digital communication lines, stands on the shoulders of these ancient innovations. The challenges they addressed, distance, terrain, logistics, remain relevant. By studying their successes and failures, modern engineers and planners continue to learn how to build resilient, efficient infrastructure that supports thriving societies. In essence, ancient roads are embedded in the world we walk today, not just physically beneath our feet but in the very fabric of how we live, interact, and progress. They are silent witnesses to our shared past and enduring reminders of the power of connectivity. Thanks for joining me on this incredible journey through the ancient roads that shaped our world. From stone-paved Roman highways to daring Incan rope bridges, these paths reveal the power, innovation, and connection of civilizations long gone, but never forgotten. If you loved uncovering these hidden stories and want to explore more fascinating tales from history, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a story. This is Thunga's Story Time, where history comes alive one story at a time. Until next time, keep exploring, keep wondering, and I'll see you in the next adventure.